This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McMahan, the chair of Dade County Democrats and also vice chair of the Rural Council. And today on this March 27th afternoon, I am with Insurance Commissioner candidate Deandre Mathis. Deandre Mathis. I'm sorry. Deandre, good morning or good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Good, Tom. How about you?
Well, I'm doing fine. I was telling you just a minute ago, other than my car getting me in a little bit of a rush, I'm doing pretty good today. So hopefully I can figure that car problem out. But that's neither here nor there for us. So you're running for insurance commissioner, and I wanted to, as I do with all candidates, I wanted to give an introduction to you, give you a chance to tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your family, whatever you think is relevant. So I'm going to turn the screen over to you now so you can do just that. Go ahead.
Well, I'm a father of four. My son is in the U.S. Army. My oldest daughter is an attorney. My middle daughter is a middle school teacher, and my baby daughter is 17-year-old high school senior. And my son's father to two twin girls, so making me proud granddaddy. I was born and raised in Atlanta, on the west side of Atlanta. Went to Douglas High School, and from there I went in the U.S. Navy, served in Desert Storm. I was aboard USS Wisconsin in combat and received the Combat Action Medal. As a result of that, came home from the Navy and enrolled in Georgia State University and got a bachelor's degree in accounting and then a master's degree in taxation. Worked in accounting for some time as a tax accountant with Ernst & Young. And from there, I got an entrepreneurial vibe and branched out into some other stuff. And for the last 21 years, I've been in insurance and financial service as an insurance agent and a registered rep investment advisor. And so that's what has brought me to the point of offering my services and asking folk to vote for me for insurance commissioner, because I've seen that that office is poorly managed. In fact, that office is run de facto by insurance industry executives. I know that intimately. I've been down there legislating at the State House for a number of years on insurance issues, and just finally have decided to put my name on the ballot. I think Georgia is ready to flip blue, and otherwise I wouldn't be wasting my time. And so that's why I'm here.
Well, cool. And I want to say thank you and give you a little fist bump for the, you said the USS Wisconsin, Persian Gulf War. I was on the USS Eisenhower during the Persian Gulf War. And so I think Wisconsin, was it in Norfolk? Was it out of Norfolk? Okay, so we were probably in Norfolk at the same time, even. So right down a couple of piers down from each other, probably. Well, good deal. Good to meet one of my fellow Persian golfers there. Okay, well, thank you for that answer. Okay, so let's tell now that you're in, you got your background established. Is there anything specifically about Georgia Insurance Commissioner that you think, I want to run to do this or I want to run to do that? What are some issues? What are some things you want to do specifically as insurance commissioner?
Well, first, the insurance commissioner's authority has to be returned to the office. A lot of folk are not aware, but about 10, 12 years ago, the legislature actually rewrote the statute that defines the insurance commissioner's authority. And so he doesn't even actually, by statute, have the authority to deny rate increases and regulate rates. They changed one word in the statute that defines his authority. It used to read that the insurance commissioner shall approve all rate increases. Now it reads he shall review. And so, but the fact that Mr. King doesn't kick and scream about that, in my estimation, shows that he's fine with it. He's in on the grift, and so as the insurance commissioner, I would be pressuring the legislature, even if I had to have press conferences every day on the legislature steps, to restore the power of the commissioner to actually rein in these rates and regular rates. Secondly, I would be adamant about reversing and repealing the new tort reform law. I think it is going to disproportionately make it harder for people with lesser means to be adequately compensated and made whole. And when I say made whole, I mean pain and suffering as well, because that's a real thing for people in their lives. Their lives are disrupted when they have injuries. And so I believe my life experience has taught me that people that are well connected are going to continue to get the relief and the justice that an injury situation would call for. And so I think this new law would just disproportionately disadvantage those who are less well connected, lesser means to hire the right attorneys. And so that would be another primary issue for me, along with a number of things with regard to health care. I think that our next governor, this falls outside of the actual purview of the insurance commissioner, but I would certainly advocate for it with whoever the governor would be, and that's to expand Medicare and Medicaid. Small businesses are really impacted greatly by the cost of insurance. And a lot of times this is why small businesses go out of business or get stagnant and can't grow. One of the primary reasons is because it's just tough to provide group health care to their employees. That's a real expensive cost for small businesses, group medical insurance for their employees. And that's often why they sometimes lose key employees. And so I think the expansion of Medicare and Medicaid will go a long way to stimulating our small businesses ability to sustain over time and tap into some potential that is being wasted because people don't have the resources to stay in business to make it a go.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. You mentioned a little bit ago about they changed the law where you can only review. Are there things that specifically that insurance commissioner can do beyond just sort of notifying the public and saying stuff out loud? Are there things that the insurance commissioner can do to sort of lower rates or lower costs for Georgians that is allowed by law?
Well, what he certainly could do is push back on the insurers, on the insurance companies. But that's going to take some ability to leverage that. If he doesn't have the power to leverage those conversations, then they'll continue to run rapid. I mean, he's got the power to fine, and so you've seen some recent election cycle fines, but that's just what they are, election cycle fines. You never see them during off-cycle election years. And to be frank, those fines are drops in the bucket in terms of the pillaging that the insurance industry has done to the Georgia community over the last few years.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good information to know. I don't know that a lot of people know about the law change that you referred to. I wasn't sure of that myself until you brought that up. So that is a good thing to know moving forward. Okay. So in your race, I believe you were the only candidate for about a week. And then right at the very end, we had a bunch of candidates come in. So now we have 5 candidates, I think it is, total. What do you think sets you apart specifically that gives you an advantage over the other 4 candidates in this Democratic race for insurance commissioner?
Well, my understanding, and I hadn't had a chance to research the other people thoroughly, but people in my campaign have, and my feedback tells me that I am the only candidate who actually has any experience and expertise in the field of insurance. I am the only candidate that's actually has any training or experience in the field of fire training. And as you know, in the Navy, we receive extensive fire training because you got to put the fire out, or that ship's
die. You don't have a choice. You don't have anywhere to run, right? Right.
Yeah. Between
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, between that experience and again the last 21 years of experience as an insurance agent, my understanding is that the other candidates don't have any experience in or training in either area.
Yeah. And just because you brought it up, it's something that tends to get overlooked. It is the Commissioner of Insurance and Fire Training and Safety. What specifically does the commissioner do? This just sort of FYI for me. What do they do or oversee in the fire side of things that tends to get overlooked? What do they do there?
Well, the insurance commissioner is the state's chief fire marshal, if you will. And one of the things that is also in my platform when it comes to fire safety, a lot of people be surprised that there's not any standardized fire suppression system requirements for things such as mid-rise or high-rise buildings. And so while you wouldn't have a requirement like that for single-family dwellings, those things are county to county as far as permits.
Right.
I believe when it comes to buildings 4 stories or higher, like you're seeing a lot of construction these days with high-rise, either senior facilities or luxury apartments or condos going up. People are building higher and higher instead of wider and wider.
Right.
And in my estimation, we need to have a standardized statewide fire suppression code for buildings that are 4 stories or higher that have multifamily or commercial occupancy, because those buildings are going to have high occupancy people and could lead to catastrophe in the event of fire. And certainly in a single family dwelling home, any loss of life is tragic, but to have a catastrophe with hundreds of people in a single building because of an inadequate fire suppression system and a fire got a hand would just be unthinkable, and we should make it unacceptable.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks for that. That's just something that tends to get overlooked about this office. That it is a little bit more than just insurance involved in that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the strategy side. We've talked to some about the insurance and all the rest. You are in the race for 5 with 5 candidates in it. How do you? This is a little vague, but it's always something. Just how do you see your campaign like over the next few months? How do you reach out to people across the state? This is a big state, lots of counties. In the primary, you're kind of on your own in a lot of ways. So how do you, without giving away any secrets or anything, how do you see your campaign kind of doing all that stuff as best you can?
Well, we have to be frank, Tom, and we don't have any fear of divulging our strategy.
Right.
We're on the field playing ball, but we've been traversing the state, Tom, to be frank. A lot of folk across the state feel that Metro Atlantans who run for statewide office take everything outside of the metro area for granted just because of the sheer numbers of the voting population in the metro area. But being really in tune with Georgia as a real Georgian, my family roots are in Thompson, Georgia. And so to be frank, right after talking to my family in Atlanta, I called my family in Thompson to get their support. And then they reached over to our family in Macon. And so I've already been to Macon. I've already been to Augusta. I've already been to LaGrange. I was in Beaufort last week up in Hall County. And then we were over in Gainesville. Next weekend, we're going down to Savannah and Brunswick to talk to the longshoremen down there. So we're not taking anything for granted. We want to represent all of Georgia. And if God blesses us to win this office, we're going to be visible in all of Georgia. And so people know that, the insurance commissioner's office is going to be there for them and when time calls for it.
Right. Okay. And you can correct me or educate me a little bit on this if I'm wrong. If you win the primary and you are the nominee, now you're in the general election. You're in a combined campaign, but you're also, you have your own race. I would think that probably the insurance companies are going to favor Republicans. Mr. King is the incumbent. Like you said, he's pretty much been doing their bidding. So what resources are there resources other than just the voters themselves that you, insurance commissioner candidate, a Democrat, can rely on to assist you, like in funding your campaign and those sorts of things?
My oldest daughter I mentioned is an attorney, and so I think, and I don't have any commitments from anybody. This is just
right.
This is just me wishful thinking and trying to see who we can align ourselves with based on some issues. I think there are some attorney groups who are not happy with the recent tort reform law, and they may be willing to support us. I think there's some business interests out there whose business have not been able to perhaps take off in the way that they would like them to because their insurance costs are so high. So there's some opportunity there. I feel strongly about a bunch of insurance agents based on my platform supporting us because we plan to make it a new day for insurance agents in the state of Georgia so they can get back to serving their community in the way that the agent's role is supposed to be. It's defined by Georgia's insurance examination and curriculum as a duality. The agent is to represent the client as well as the insurer, but through pressure and intimidation and just the mass size of the insurance company up against the agent, they pressure and squeeze a lot of agents into neglecting or obfuscating, that responsibility to argue on behalf of the customer. Insurance companies denied the customer's roof claim, and the customer's been a good paying policyholder for 10, 15 years, and everybody knows the storm just came through. I had that experience myself about 16 years ago, where my roof claim was denied, and I had to go back and forth with the adjuster and then call corporate several times. And here I am, an agent representing the company. And so, those type of things, we should have somebody in the office who can relate to those things and push back on those things. But I believe there are groups out there that will be willing to help, even if the insurance industry has a bunch more money to spend.
Okay. Well, and that's good. Thank you for that. It's just something that I've asked other candidates about in other offices. Last year, for example, the Public Service Commission, those two races, they had sort of Georgia Power working against them, but they did have other groups and so forth that came to their aid. And so that I was just curious about that as far as the insurance. It's an interesting point you bring up about insurance agents themselves sometimes getting, I guess you could say, raked over a little bit by the insurance companies that they're in theory working with or working for. So, okay, well, it's cool. Thank you for that. Just the FYI, and if you don't know this, it's okay. About how large is the Department of Insurance in the state? Is it a really large group, or is it fairly small? Or?
I believe it's the largest state department in Georgia.
Okay, okay. I didn't know if it was like I knew labor probably had a couple thousand workers on it, but I guess insurance, they have to have people go out, and I'm sure they have to have people all over the state. So I was just curious about that. Well, thank you. Okay, well, I think we've covered most of the stuff that I know to ask you because I'm not an insurance person. Is there anything else that we need that you can think of that needs to be brought out? Just as an individual point, because I'm not an insurance person and I don't want to necessarily leave anything out. But I think we've covered a lot. So
yeah. No, I can't think of anything.
okay, all right. Well, here's the what I do at the end. I always give each candidate a minute or two at the end to sort of look into the camera and give your stump speech on why we should elect you to be our next insurance commissioner. So I'm going to let you close that out. Deandre, why should Deandre Mathis be our next insurance commissioner?
My name is Deandre Mathis, and I was born and raised right here in Atlanta, Georgia. My roots are in Thompson, Georgia, so I'm a Georgia boy through and through. I bleed red and black. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree from Georgia State, and I'm a father of 4, grandfather of 2. I believe that Georgia's insurance rates and the Department of Insurance Commissioner's Office is poorly mismanaged. And I think my last 21 years of experience in the insurance agent realm has prepared me to fight back against the insurance companies who are the de facto bosses in the insurance commissioner's office, so that Georgians get the real kind of insurance product that they deserve. And so please go to DeandreForGeorgia.com, which is our campaign website, DeandreForGeorgia.com. There you can see a lot more about me. And on May 19th, I hope that I can earn your vote. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Deandre. Now, I just want to be clear, is that Deandre 4, number 4, or FOR?
FOR.
FOR, and then Georgia spelled out.com. Okay. All right. Well, Deandre, thank you so much. Nice to talk to a fellow Persian Gulf Navy guy. Thank you for that too. And hope to see you around on the campaign trail coming up in the next few months and beyond all the way to November.
Thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate you for having me, okay?
Oh, no problem. Thank you.